Okay, hello and welcome back to the Do The Work podcast. We are back in the studio today, which is good, and it's just me. So what I wanted to do for you today is talk about some of the questions that I get asked about my Do The Work Together program, and I'm going to run through all the frequently asked questions, answer them, which will hopefully give you ultimately everything that you need to make the decision as to whether or not this is the right program for you. Now, the questions that I'm going to go through are on my website, available to have a look at. All the answers are on there. But obviously, sometimes people like to digest this kind of information via video or via podcast or both. So here we are. First question on the list is what is included in the 6-week program, which it's the first question because it's probably the most common one that gets asked. So the program itself, the Do The Work Together program, is a ladies-only program. It runs for 6 weeks initially, and that's just so that it's a short enough term commitment-wise so that you can see if it works for you. What we find is that 80% of the ladies that do it do tend to stay on after. Now, within it, in an exercise sense, you will come and see me in a ladies-only format. There are groups of 8, so it's a small group, and you'll see me twice per week for those sessions, and there'll be personal training sessions that will be fully structured, monitored, and tracked so that you're making weekly progress, week on week, essentially. We program those in 6-week blocks as well, so each week when you come back, you'll be doing the same thing for 6 weeks so that you can get that improvement rather than just going into the gym and not knowing what you're doing or doing a random bunch of exercises and never know ultimately if you're getting any better. Now, exercise is only a small portion of it, but the other piece of the exercise is that you also get access to what I call like my team training sessions as well. They're made up of our combined sessions, which are basically combining strength, power, and cardio. So you're going to get a little bit of a sweat on in those sessions. You get access to our HIIT Happen session, which is a high intensity 30-minute session. You get access to dumbbells on demand, which is purely strength-based, purely a weight training workout. And then our Saturday session is a team training session where you'll be working in pairs or in teams, doing a mix of different stuff. So you actually get access to 2 PT sessions and then up to 4 other sessions throughout the week in my private gym environment. But as I say, it's not just about the exercise. You also get supported with regards to your nutrition. So we'll give you a strategy that is based around you, your life, your work life, your family life, your likes, your dislikes, dietary requirements, all of that. And what we don't do is take anything away. So the things that you love will be in there. We might just have to reduce the amount that you're having to get you the result that you want, but nothing is off limits in a food or drink sense. We then support you with regards to a step target that is, again, matched to what you are capable of doing. So if you're coming to me in a desk job and currently you're doing 2,000 or 3,000 steps, then me setting you a target of 10,000 per day is going to be far too many. You're just going to set yourself up to fail ultimately. So the first thing we'll do is set you a weekly target so that if you have a bad day or a lower day or a day when you chain to your desk or what have you, you haven't failed and you can still hit your target over the course of the week. So we'll set that based on what is a little bit of a bump up from what you're doing now to increase the energy expenditure, but also make sure that you can actually do it and it's not a target that's way beyond what you're doing now, essentially. You'll also have a check-in process, so each Sunday you will get a text message and an email from myself, and that's going to prompt you to complete a form, which is essentially you reviewing and reflecting on the week that you've had, and then also setting yourself up for the week that's coming, and just highlighting any issues that might have come up, any problems you might need help with, anything you want me to be aware of, but also it's very much a self-reflective thing to make sure that you're on track doing what you should be doing. As I say, you're going to review everything from your training, you're going to review your steps, you're going to review your nutrition, your sleep, and much more as well. And then you've got the community aspect as well. So you're going to be around like-minded women that are on the same journey as you. There's going to be people that have been to this session or been in this program for a much longer time. So they've been authentically where you are at the beginning and they will help you and understand where you're at. Then there might be a few people that are in a similar space to you. And then there might be a few people that are a month or a few weeks a little bit beyond where you are. So again, they all totally understand where you are. And it's a very, very friendly community vibe, which is going to essentially set you up for success with the program. So hopefully that answers the question on what's included in the 6 weeks. If there is anything else, feel free to reach out to me directly. Send me a DM, send me an email, and all the info is in the show notes as to how to do that. The next question on the list we have is, how quickly will I see results? So there's a lot of programs out there that will promise you, extreme crazy results, and most likely you're coming in wanting to lose a stone, 2 stone, 3 stone as fast as you possibly can. And this is where we have to bring a little bit of honesty and a little bit of education as to what's possible and what's realistic so that you can keep the results off. Because the most important thing for me is that yes, you get a result, but that you are able to keep going long after the 6 weeks, get to the point at which you're happy and content with where you're at, if that's, for example, a certain number on the scales or a certain dress size or whatever that is, but then be able to maintain it. If you take on extreme diets or extreme bouts of exercise or something along those lines to achieve the goal, chances are you're not going to be able to maintain it. So we have a focused long-term approach, which is habit-based, so that not only will you get results in the 6 weeks, but you will want to continue afterwards. You will keep getting results. And then once you get your goal, the habits and the things that you do will just be part of your life, and it'll be the last diet that ultimately you ever need to be on. In terms of how quickly you can see results, to give you an exact answer to that question, a healthy amount of fat loss per week for a female on average is around about a pound a week, which what happens normally when someone starts a diet is they lose a lot of weight very quickly over the course of the first week, maybe the 3, 4, 5 pounds down. And so they expect that to be the same each week after that, but it just isn't the case. 1 pound per week is a very, very, very good performance when we're talking purely about losing body fat and not just losing weight. That initial weight loss on the scales is mostly made up of food in the gut, excess water that was essentially storing as water retention, if you will, and there's other varying factors that go on to ultimately make you lose a lot of weight in your first week, which really isn't all body fat. And the focus that we want to do is lose body fat. And so we create a healthy deficit and a healthy target, and 1 pound per week added up over the span of time is going to equate to a lot of weight, and you're going to have habits that stay, as I say, so that you can then keep the weight off long term and keep your results ultimately. Okay, so next on the list, do I need to have previous fitness experience? So it tends to be a little bit of a mix in terms of who comes in on the program. To give you an idea, we get quite a lot of beginners, and we get maybe ladies that have been in some form of exercise before, but it's been a bit of a while since they've done it. And so their fitness levels usually are pretty low, and we are fully capable of helping beginners. And mostly when people come in, they don't know what they're doing when it comes to weight training, which is purely what the small group sessions are about. And the way it's set up is that I don't take on too many clients at any one time, so that in the session of 8 people, there are going to be some in there, maybe 5, 6 people that are fully self-sufficient and don't need that much help and support from me, which means I can spend more time with the beginner to show them how to use the exercises and do the exercises effectively and safely. And so if you're a beginner, that is absolutely fine, and I'd encourage you to come. Another good factor about how we do it and where we do it is a private gym environment. So you're not coming into a gym environment where there's hundreds of people on the gym floor and you're a little bit overwhelmed by how much kit and how to use it and all of that stuff. You'll be coming into an environment where there is only the people that are in that group are in there. And I'll make you feel comfortable, and so will the rest of the ladies that are in the group, because as I say, they're either exactly where you are or just a little bit past it, so they fully understand where you're at. Okay, so what if I can't attend all of the sessions? In an ideal world, obviously you come to all of the sessions. Life doesn't always go that way. Things come up. We have 2 different sets of groups at the minute as we speak. So sometimes, for example, if you're someone who comes part of the morning group, if you can't make the morning, you can come in the evening instead. And worst case scenario, we also give you home workouts. So you can have something to do at home if you literally can't get to the gym that day because you've got meetings or you're away working or what have you. But the one thing to remember here with this program is it's not, as I've mentioned previously, it's not only about the exercise. The exercise in a weight loss sense is the cherry on the cake. And so managing our nutrition and our steps and our overall lifestyle is going to be more important when it comes to achieving the weight loss results. So if you was to miss 1 or 2 sessions, it wouldn't make that much difference. That being said, ideally, we don't want you to miss them because you can make a lot of progress in a strength sense and just in terms of understanding and executing the exercises safely, ultimately. So ideally, we want you to make them. If you can't, it's not the end of the world. We want to work with you. We understand essentially that life is busy. Okay, what if I have specific dietary needs or restrictions? So I think I covered this a little bit earlier on. So anytime someone comes in and starts, they will complete what we call an onboarding form. Within that form, you'll give me a whole bunch of detail about your lifestyle. And specifically for this little bit, we're talking about nutrition. So I'll be asking you what you currently eat for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for snacks, for tea, whatever you might call it, all of that stuff. I'll ask you if you've got any dietary requirements, e.g. if it's some sort of intolerance or if it's just a preference, e.g. vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever it might be. And then when I come to put together your recommendations and your example day, that will be based purely on your needs, be that a choice or an intolerance or whatever it might be. So, for example, if you were a vegetarian, I would base your example day purely based around that so that you can still hit the targets that we set with regards to calories, protein, etc. So you've got an array of options essentially to choose from when it is that you're building out your meals. So, as I say, I've had clients with all different needs and what have you, and we've managed to suit them just fine. So that isn't going to stop you or restrict you from being successful in the program. Okay, so what happens after the 6 weeks? So again, talked about this a little bit briefly before. We find that 80% of the ladies that come on board stay with us after the 6 weeks, and normally long after the 6 weeks. If I could make this a 12 or 24-month program, I would do. It's just that it's too much of a commitment for someone to commit to ultimately. But the way I see things is that if we want to change and transform someone's life, then it's going to take a whole lot of effort. So I would like to think that everyone would be willing to stay on after the 6 weeks and not just see it as a quick fix. In terms of how it works, when you come on board for the 6 weeks, you pay your upfront payment to cover you for the 6 weeks. And then what happens after that is you go on to a rolling monthly membership essentially then, where you pay on the first each month, and that just covers you for that month essentially for your sessions. Nothing else changes in terms of the support. You still get all the sessions as you did. You still get the support with nutrition. You still get the support on your steps and your overall lifestyle factors, the check-in, access to the community, access to all the quarterly meetups that we do. So literally nothing changes. We have a meeting at week 3. So we have a week 3 review to find out how things are going. Normally it's at that point when people are reporting just feeling more energetic, noticing that they've lost weight, maybe the clothes are a little bit looser or what have you, or they can button up those jeans or whatever it might be. And we normally have a chat and a conversation then as to whether or not that lady is then looking to continue afterwards. And as I say, in 80% of cases, the ladies do continue. Is the program suitable for women of all ages? Absolutely, it is. Most of the ladies that I work with typically tend to be 40 and over, some 30 and over. It's quite rare that ladies come to me that are less than 30, and that's just something that's naturally happened over time. So a lot of the communication that I put out on social media and in the podcasts and stuff like that is geared towards sort of over 40s ladies that might be going through the menopause, having been through the menopause, and the challenges that comes with that. That being said, I can still help ladies in the 30s well before the menopause, and I do have 1 or 2 clients that are under 30 as well. So it isn't that it rejects or isn't, applicable to all ages. It's just that more often than not, that tends to be the type of lady that comes to me for help. But I would never turn anyone away that is a good fit for the program, is willing to show up, is willing to do the work, and ultimately wants to feel better about themselves and get healthier, happier, have more energy and feel more confident. Okay, how is this program different from other weight loss programs? So from what I've seen, obviously I have a lot of competitors in the local area doing very similar things, be that 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever. And from your perspective, there can be a lot of confusion over who should I go with, what should I do. I'm just seeing loads of gym adverts on my Facebook or Instagram feed, and I'm a little bit confused about which one's best for me. Now, what a lot of them do is they'll promise a result, which is great, but they sometimes want that result short term, just so they can show off the progress pictures or the X amount of weight loss that has been achieved over the 6 weeks. But the reason in which that we are different is that I see this, as I say to you, as a 12-month or a 24-month program, in that I'm almost assuming or expecting that lady to come to me and to stay on long after that, because it's my goal to ensure that you completely change your life so that it's not just a 6-week thing for an Ibiza trip or a holiday or something like that. It's something that I can actually help you feel better long term, keep those results, and not just find yourself yo-yoing and constantly needing the new or the latest gym program or the latest crazy diet or what have you, to keep going back after you keep bouncing back, putting the weight back on and losing it, and putting the weight back on and losing it. So the way I see this program is that this is the last program that you'll ever need, because you'll build the habits that are necessary to have a life ultimately that makes you happier, feel healthier, keep that weight off, and as I say, just live a much more happy and prosperous life. Okay, what if I have a medical condition or injury? So, dependent upon what it is, as long as you're cleared from your GP or specialist or what have you to exercise, then I can still help. What we will do is we will make adjustments to some of the exercise selection. So if something's maybe a little bit too advanced, or if there's certain movements that are just off limits, we can swap that out for another exercise, and that's absolutely fine. I always have people in the program that maybe have a previous injury. I've got a lady at the minute who had a double hip replacement and an ACL reconstruction. We've had to make some adjustments for her. I've had ladies who literally can't do any core or abs-based stuff after having children. So there's a lot of different things that come across my desk, so to speak, that I have to adapt the program to. So I don't want you to see that as something that's hindering or stopping you from being able to do something. I actually spoke to a lady quite recently who showed an interest in the program. She has really bad knees, and of course that would be alleviated if she was able to build up the strength in her muscles, in her joints, and ultimately lose some weight. But she allowed that situation to stop her from getting started, even though we could have made adjustments so that we weren't putting too much strain, stress, load on the knees, and so that we could get her making some level of progress, which would have probably started to alleviate the pain that she had in those knees. So consequently, by not doing anything, you're probably making your situation worse. So just be rest assured that we can make adjustments so that the program will still work for you. We just might have to change some certain exercises around. I've got qualifications in corrective exercise specialization, so I'm very, very, qualified, if you will, to help you with that ultimately. Okay, right, this is number 10. So is there a payment plan available? So in most cases, I'd say probably 95% of the ladies that come on board, they typically pay upfront for the program. So to be completely upfront with you, the program is £239 for the first 6 weeks. As I say, most ladies pay upfront. If that is a problem, there is the odd time where we make some arrangements whereby we can split that into a couple of payments or take a deposit initially, for example, while someone's waiting for payday or something like that. So if that's something that is necessary, just again, come to me directly, and I'll be happy to help with that. Okay, so we'll move on to number 11. Will I have support outside of the training sessions? Absolutely. So you're going to have access to the app. Everything is hosted within there. You have access to a one-to-one messenger direct to me. You've also got access to the group community of everyone that is inside this program as well. So it might be that someone else within the program can help, a little bit of advice, a little bit of guidance, a little bit of a kick up the backside, bit of motivation or what have you. Or if it's something more specific, you can just come direct to me and then I'll get back to you as soon as I can via the app, as I say. And then in terms of the support outside of the training sessions, I've kind of already covered that, but you'll be supported with regards to the nutrition, lifestyle factors like sleep, like steps, like stress, balancing and planning, all of that stuff. You've got your check-in process. So we see it as an all-in-one program, if you will, rather than just what exercise do I get out of it. Can I still join if I have a busy schedule? Absolutely. Most of the ladies that come to me are busy, and they're probably out of shape or their fitness has gone down or what have you, because they've not prioritized their health and fitness. maybe they've had kids and kids have become priority and they've become bottom of the list, which is common. They have busy jobs where, they're at a desk all day, 9 to 5, 8 till 5, whatever that might be. And then they're busy in the evenings, running the kids to the certain activities, doing that at weekends. And I have clients that are still doing that and they still manage to come to the gym. And what they normally figure out is that they need to be at their best for their family, for their kids, for their partner. And so if they don't put time into them, then they're going to be no good for the people that are the most important people around them. So what I find is that if we get a little bit more efficient, we can fit it in. If we get a little bit of help and support from family, we can fit it in. But it's also important to remember that I'm only asking someone to do maybe up to 3 hours of exercise per week. And some of that, if needed, could be done at home. So the minimum that you come to me per week will be 2 sessions of 45 minutes. And then you could do, if you couldn't get to the gym at any other time, a couple of home workouts, which I would provide you with in your own time when the kids have gone to bed, before work, at weekend, whatever it might be, to ensure you're still getting in your exercise requirements. So I can say with sincerity that all of the ladies that come to me are already busy when they start, but they never look back and they always find a way to fit it in if they really want to achieve the result ultimately. Can I join the program with a friend? Absolutely. Having someone there who you know, like, trust, can help you feel much more comfortable in that environment. Part of the program in the small group training sessions is that it's likely you will be paired up. So it can help sometimes to be paired up with someone who's a bit more experienced so they can guide you and show you and help you and support you. But equally, if you're a little bit nervous and you're not sure, then coming with someone else that you know that you can be paired up with would also obviously make you feel comfortable in that environment as well. Again, all that would depend on is obviously availability, that there are 2 spaces within that session for you to be able to complete. What should I bring to my sessions? So in terms of like what you're wearing, it's whatever you feel comfortable. Most of the ladies either wear leggings mostly, some wear shorts in the summer, some form of t-shirt. Sometimes it can get a little bit cooler in the winter, so they might come with an extra layer on, like a hoodie or a zip-up or something like that. And then just bring a bottle of water with you. There's a water dispenser at the gym, so you can fill that up and top that up. I've got a coffee machine, so after some of the ladies leave in the morning, or certainly on a Saturday, they like to grab a coffee before they go and take that with them. So other than just bringing, as I say, pair of trainers that you're going to wear in the gym, a water bottle, and then whatever you feel comfortable in clothing-wise, that's all you need to do. How long are the training sessions? So the small group PT sessions last for 45 minutes. Sometimes they can run over. I always block it out for 60 minutes just in case it takes a little bit longer. Tend to find that when people are new, it can take closer to that 60-minute mark. I always leave that window open just in case it runs over. But typically speaking, you'll be in and out within 45 to 50 minutes. And again, that's so that we can make sure that we're being efficient with your time. As we mentioned, I know you're busy, so I want you to get in, get it done, and then get out essentially. The team training sessions are also set for 45 minutes, apart from the Wednesday session, which is the Hit Happen session, which is the intense one. That's just 30 minutes, so that's an even quicker blast. So some people just come in, finish work, do 30 minutes, get a really good workout, and then they're home for tea, and then they can relax and chill out for the evening, get back to families, etc. How does the money back guarantee work? So one thing I always say is that I will guarantee results or your money back. Now, the first thing that I must say here is that obviously you need to show up and you need to do the work. Handing over the money isn't enough. So you need to be willing to show up and work hard in the gym and essentially follow the plan that I lay out. I'll provide you as much support as I possibly can. And as I say, you'll also get support from the rest of the people within the community as well. I've never had to give any money back for someone who hasn't achieved results. There's been an occasion where someone had an injury which just really stopped them from being able to do anything. So in that case, if there's an injury or an illness or something like that, then obviously there'll be a refund issued there. But based on not getting results, I've never ever had to give any money back. However, if you was to show up to every single session, follow what I said with nutrition, do all your check-ins, use all the support that's there, and still didn't get results and weren't happy with it, then I would issue you with all your money back. But as I say, that's never happened. Can I adjust my program if my goals change? Absolutely. So mostly the weight training side of things won't need to change. What will typically change if your goals change is the number of calories that you have each day and maybe the number of steps. So it might be that you hit your target weight and you don't want to lose any more weight, so then we need to adjust that. So we might increase your calorie intake, we might decrease your step intake, but what we'd probably look to do first there is give you more food, give you more calories, which most people will be happy with primarily, potentially if they've been dieting for quite a long time as well. Sometimes I have people come in, they lose a load of weight, they gain a load of confidence, they then want to come with me on some hikes that I do, so we might need to give them a little bit of extra support with that on how to be competent when to do that. Some people then go on to do like 5Ks or half marathons. I'm not saying these are the things that you have to do, however, people tend to get these goals as they become a little bit more confident, they get more comfortable, and they realise that they're capable of more. So they set these new goals, and then it's on me still to support you with that. So we can adjust, support, change to whatever the goal is. And as I say, we've had people do all of them things and more. What kind of support will I receive? I think we've probably covered a lot of that already, but the support is comprehensive. So there's different levels there. If needed, you can book, if you need to have a catch up with me, you can book a call with me. If you're struggling with stuff, you can reach out to me on Messenger. I can pair you up with somebody else in the group. And we also have a group within the community called the Get Shit Done group as well. And within that group, that is some extra accountability. So rather than just checking in each week, you check in every single day. So if you're someone who feels like you need that push, then that group would be a great group for you. At the end of the day, each day, you put in how many calories you've eaten against your target, how much protein you've eaten against your target, how many steps you've done against your target, and whether or not you've trained that day against whether or not you should have trained that day. You will then screenshot your food tracking app, whatever it is that you use, whether it's my app, MyFitnessPal, or what have you. And you also screenshot the number of steps that you've done as well. So that's that extra piece of accountability that you would then report in each day. So if you're someone that struggles with doing it on your own or needs that daily activity, there is a higher level accountability piece there for you. If you're someone who's quite happy cracking on your own and just using the support as and when you need it, you can absolutely do that as well. And we essentially fit it around the individual. What if I'm not comfortable in a gym environment? So this is most of the clients or most of the ladies that I work with. They'll go through a journey where maybe they've joined gyms before, and that might be something they've thought about for a while. And then they join the gym, they drive to the car park, and they sit in the car for half an hour because they're scared or anxious about going into the gym environment because they don't want to walk through the door. They think there's going to be loads of people in there who already know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They think they're going to look silly. They're going to look daft, all of that stuff. So they talk themselves out of going into the gym. This is done in a private gym environment. So it's not a commercial gym like a Total Fitness or a Pure Gym or a Nuffield or something like that. The people that are in there are only the people that are going to be in there for that session. So, for example, for that ladies' small group session, there'll be a max of 8 ladies in there. There'll be nobody else in. There's not any sort of, crazy pieces of kit that you won't know how to use. And everything that you do, I will teach you how to do so that you're fully comfortable and you know what you're doing. Every workout gets tracked. And so the next week when you come back, you're going to be doing the same thing again. And we're just going to look to do it that little bit better. That's all going to be stored on your app. So you don't need to worry about remembering things or anything like that. And I'll give you as much guidance as what you need when you're doing those workouts so that ultimately you know exactly what you're doing. And then you can start to feel comfortable in that gym environment rather than being sat in the car park, talking yourself out of going in after joining the gym 3 or 4 times and quitting. How do I get started? So last one, here we go. So all you need to do is contact me directly, be that via email, via DM. You can pick up the phone, all of which are available on social media, on my website, in the show notes on here. What happens then is we have a bit of a chat. I'll do a bit of a fact-finding mission to find out more about you, what you need help with, all of that stuff. I'll run you through more detail if needed on how the program works, and then I send you a payment link which sets you up on our app. Automatically you then will set your profile up on the app. I will send you some documentation over with the onboarding form that we talked about earlier. You'll fill that out and that gives me kind of like full disclosure, if you will, of all the stuff that you've got going on, your likes, your dislikes, your habits, everything I need to go away and then put together the program to support and help you, basically. We decide on a start date together. I will meet you at the gym, just me and you, and then you can know where you're going with the gym, show you how to use the app, give you an intro to the gym, answer any questions that you might have. And then the following Monday, from whenever that would be, you'd get started and start to get your results. So that is the 20 FAQs that are on my website. Hopefully that was useful. If there's anything else I've missed there, by all means, give us a shout. You can get all my contact details in the show notes, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in for today's episode. I hope you found that useful and valuable. If you'd like to hear more from us, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next episode.